Your Honor, thank you, first of all, for allowing us to be heard on this. I will try not to repeat myself. Obviously, the court has read our submission, we've read all the exhibits, the preliminary hearing transcript, but I think that there are certain issues that do bear on the court's ultimate determination, and I'm going to highlight those issues as best I can and as succinctly as I can. And it starts with one truth, a legal truth here in California. Speed cannot be treated as malice. Speed cannot be treated as malice. That is the rule in the state of California. It's not made up by the defense, not made up by me. It's not a tagline. It's the rule of law in California recited in a statement handed down to the lower courts by the Supreme Court Justice Kelly Evans. Your Honor, this case has always required one thing and one thing only from the prosecution, and that is proof of implied malice. Not proof of negligence, not proof of recklessness, not proof that this was a tragedy, which it clearly was. They must prove implied malice, and the law is crystal clear that implied malice has two separate and independent requirements: an objective requirement and a subjective requirement.
And this is very similar to what we saw in the A.J. Scott trial. And Alan Jackson is right on this when it comes to the law, obviously. We saw with the A.J. Scott situation, yes, this was a police officer who should have known better. He ended up killing 2 people, severely injuring 2 others. But at the end of the day, just because he was speeding and just because he was being stupid, that doesn't mean that he was intending to kill somebody or was like, hey, let me go out here and drive as fast as I can and try and kill someone. That's AJ's argument.
The prosecution has never satisfied either of those. Certainly not at the preliminary hearing. And I want to be very clear. Right now, at least for the first part of my comments, I want to separate those two into different legal pillars. The first thing I want to address is the objective requirement. What act did Fraser Baum commit that objectively involved a high probability that it would result in death? That's the question before the court. That was the question before the magistrate. What happened on Pacific Coast Highway, I could not be clearer about this, was a tragic collision. But tragedy does not equal murder. And the law does not permit the district attorney to convert a fatal accident into second-degree murder simply by calling speed malice.